Hey everybody, and welcome to Board Game Heaven. In this video I'm taking a look at a demo copy of Eila and Something Shiny designed by Jeffrey CCH, published by Ice Makes, and it's a game about a little bunny called Eila who is going on an adventure. It's a story-driven game played with cards, and there's some resource management as well. I've received a tutorial and the first 2 chapters of the game to try out. And the game is currently being kickstarted, so I'll put a link in the description below, and you can also click the I in the corner of this video to go and take a look. Now, everything you'll see in this video is still a prototype and subject to change, but first I'll set up a game and I'll explain how the game plays, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. To set up a game of Eila and Something Shiny, you'll need your chapter cards. So this is the chapter deck of the intro game, which is a tutorial. It's chapter 0. And you'll take all of those cards, and without shuffling them, you take the green cards, and you take those green cards and you put them inside this card holder here, which comes with the game. You take the blue cards and the red cards, and you put the red cards over here and the blue cards over there in a separate stack. Then you take all of these item cards. There are different items in the game, and you put them on a separate stack as well. And there are also 3 habit cards, which are also red, and you'll put them on the left side as well. Now, each chapter has certain goals that you need to fulfill, and they are listed on this card. Now, this card is basically for the tutorials the same on both sides, but the first chapter, for example, has a card that has a regular mode, which is this. You need to fulfill these objectives. And on the other side, there's an advanced mode, which gives you less health and more objectives to reach, so that is quite challenging. Right, now most chapters will have an intro, a prologue, and an ending, and it's basically a little comic book that tells you something about the chapter that you are going to play. So we can take this The Tree booklet, but this is only the ending, so the introduction does not have a prologue. So I'll just leave this here for now. Then you can also take all of these resources. There are 6 different kinds of resources. There's the purple magical stones, which is this star over here. There's the yellow coins, it's money, that's over here. And the orange one are, of course, the carrots, which are food. Then there's energy, which are these green cubes that you need at the end of the day. And also for certain cards that you will encounter, you may need some energy. There is these gray cubes, which is wisdom, which we are going to need to fulfill this intro quest. And the brown ones are this skull over here, that's fear. So basically Eila has an inventory of stuff that she can take along, physical things. And she has, which I like to call her mind, which she can fill with energy, knowledge, but also with fear. And fear kind of just takes up space, so you don't want to have too many of these. You can't use them. So the game comes with these inventory cards. They're the same on both sides. But since I have this playmat, which is going to be an optional buy in the actual game, it's already printed on here. And at any time you can exchange 2 carrots for 1 energy, or 6 knowledge, 6 of these books, for 1 magical stone. So in the first chapter and in all the other chapters, you will have 7 days to complete your quest. So each day is numbered, so 1 through 7, and you need to fulfill your quest before the end of the 7th day, or you will lose the game. You also lose if you lose all of your health points. Now this chapter has 3 health points, and like you have seen in the first chapter, you have 4, and in advanced mode you only have 2. And that might be different for each chapter. So after you've done all that, you can start to play. All right, so I'm just gonna go through the intro quest, the tutorial, really quickly. There's already several videos online of people playing through the entire chapter 0. So I'm just gonna show you very quickly how it works. I might not completely finish it, just to give you an idea of how the game plays. So first of all, the first time, as I said, you don't shuffle, so you simply pick the first card out of this holder, and you flip it over, you put it in the middle. And then the card will tell you what your options are. So in this case, the great tree here tells you that the forest is full of surprises. Do you want to go on an adventure? And then you can choose either to stay near the tree, and then that card will go to the right, and you gain 1 food. Or you can agree to go on an adventure, and then the card goes to the left, and you gain a blue card number 6, and blue cards, as is indicated by this icon, go on top of your discarded stack in the future. So that's over here on the right. And this can also be a red card, but then it goes into the card holder, so you will draw that card next, is basically what that means. So for now, I'd like to stay here. So I'm gonna choose option A, which means this card will go to the right, and I gain 1 food. So I just simply take 1 food from the pile and I put it in my inventory. On to the next card. So now I've got the Great Trees Company because I stayed there. And this is a card that will go away, both options. So I can either play with the Great Tree and get energy, or I can talk with him and get some wisdom. Now I need 2 wisdom to complete this quest, so I'm gonna choose option B. So I'm gonna choose option B. I gain 1 wisdom, hooray, I've gotten wiser. And this card goes to the past, which is done. These cards will never come back. They're a one-time use, and they're here and they won't come back. Cards that you put into the future on the right will, after each day, get shuffled back into the deck of cards that you're going to get. So you will encounter those again. So it's also kind of a game of memory, where you want to remember all the encounters you had that go to the future, so that maybe next time you can overcome the trouble that's on the card, or you can gain something. You might need some resources for it. So it's important to remember. So on to the next card. I'm going carrot harvesting. So I can harvest with my bare hands, and that will gain me 1 food. Or I can use tools to help me, and I gain 3 food. But these tools I do not have yet. So those tools here in the blue box are basically these tools here. And as you can see, there's several of them, and this one is the toolbox, which at some point I might be able to buy somehow. And if I have that, it simply stays in my inventory, and I could use it to gain a benefit. So in this case, I'm just gonna get some carrots with my bare hands, and this goes to the right. So I can remember that I will encounter this card again. So it might be a good idea to try and get that toolbox if that is at all possible in this chapter. So then, next card. Now I'm a part-time cleaner, and I can work casually, and I get 1 coin, or I can work hard and spend an energy and gain 3 coins. Now I don't have an energy to spend. I could, however, as per these instructions, exchange 2 carrots and gain an energy, and then exchange that energy for 3 coins. But at the end of the day, I only have 1 card left. I need that energy, or I will lose a health. So I'm going to simply work casually and gain 1 gold coin. And then this card will go to the right, to the future. And my last card of the day is Mr. Deer's Shop. So Mr. Deer's Shop offers me to either sell my food in exchange for money, or I can buy food with money. So I'm gonna want to keep these, and I might need some food later. I haven't seen anything that requires money yet, so I'm going to exchange this for this, and then I will exchange 2 of these for 1 energy, which I can do at any time. So then this goes into the future, and I'm out of cards. So the day ends. So what happens then? You have 3 steps. I can first take one of my resources, or maximum of 2 of my resources, and use them to fulfill this chapter's quest. So I do have a knowledge, so I'm going to take one and put it over here, indicating that I have completed that. I only had one, so I couldn't complete the entire chapter so fast, of course. And then step 2 happens, which is I'm gonna go to sleep and I need 1 energy. And I take 1 energy and I put it on day 1 to indicate that that day is now over. So that's good. And then step 3, you shuffle your cards that are in the future. So I take these cards, and now these are all green, but at some point you will gain more cards. So I advise you not to pay too much attention to what you're doing. Don't look at them, or you'll see the colors. So just randomly shuffle them and put them back in the holder. And then you can start again. So you simply take the first card, and I'm at Mr. Deer's shop. I could exchange this for money, but I think I want to keep hold of my food, so this just goes to the right. I'm fine with what I have, and that might happen sometimes. You might just encounter a card and you can't do anything. So I'm gonna harvest with my bare hands, so at least I have enough carrots for the energy of the day. And then next I'm gonna clean casually, get some gold, and then here is the tree again. So that was the first card that I encountered, and now again it asks me, do I want to stay here? And this is my last card. If I stay here, I get a carrot, and I can exchange that, so I'll have the energy. But I've already seen all the cards here, so if I say I want to go on an adventure, I'll get a new card. So I'll do that. I'll just say, sure, let's go on an adventure, and I get card number 6. That's what it said on the card, and I just put it over here. Also indicated here with the arrow. These cards go here and these cards go in there. Right, day is over. I'll have to exchange 2 food for another energy and place that energy here. I don't have any resources to fulfill my quest. So that's it. And then I take these cards and shuffle them again. So you'll notice I now have a blue card in there. I'm trying not to look. So I'm just gonna shuffle this. There you go. And I'll put it back in the card holder and start again. And that's basically how you play it. So again, I can work casually, which let's do that. Then in the next turn, oops, something new happened. This is a new card that I just got. So an unfamiliar environment, I'm exploring, I'm going on an adventure, and I got hit by something. This is the only option I have. And as you can see, this card goes away. I get hit in the head by something and I lose a health. I gain 2 fear and card number 9, which is a red card, and goes into the card holder. All right, so let's do that. I'm losing 1 health. Ouch. I gain 2 fear because that scared me. And this card goes away and I get card number 9. Now remember, this is card number 9. That goes straight into this holder as the first card to encounter. So I could just as well just take it and place it here. So let's see what hit us. So it's a pile of apples. There were apples that fell out of the tree onto poor Eila's head. But you can keep the apples and get 3 food, which is nice. So there's 3 food here. And I can get cards 7 and 8. So that's 7 and 8 are on my future stack, and this goes away. So then I play again. I can harvest again. I don't have the toolbox, so I'll just take this. And the last card is again the shop. I might just exchange 1 food for 1 coin just to keep it even. And that's the day. So once again, exchanging 2 food for an energy because I need it. Don't have any knowledge yet. So there we go. And then I will shuffle this again. And that continues until you've somehow managed to finish the game. So maybe we'll just continue and see what happens. Here's the shop again. You know what? I'm just going to exchange this back for food, so I at least have that energy. So this goes into the future. And now there's a new card, card number 7. There's a bird. It's a little owl's bookshelf. Look at that. Hi Eila, I love reading. Do you? So I could buy a book. Well, that's fortunate because I do have 2 gold coins. I'm glad I didn't sell all of my, or didn't give away all of my coins. So I'll do that, pay these 2 coins, and I will get a wisdom, which is what I need. So I've already almost finished the game, and that goes into the future. So now basically we could continue, but basically if at the end of this story, I simply exchange these 2 for 1 energy, and then I can put this one over here, and this one will end the day, and I've completed the quest. As soon as you can do this, it's step 1, you're done. You don't even have to go through step 2 anymore. So you've done this, you've finished, and you've completed the quest. So then you take the ending booklet, and you can read what happened. So Eila is feeling sleepy, and she's falling asleep in the shade of the tree. And then the tree gently picks her up and puts her on top of its head. And then the next day the sun comes up, Eila wakes up, and in the distance she sees something shiny. What could that be? And then she's going on an adventure. So then you can take the next chapter, reset the game, and then this prologue will tell you what's going on, which I won't show you because that would be a spoiler, but it's a lot of fun. So let's go to my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on Eila and Something Shiny by Ice Makes. Little disclaimer, this is an unpaid review. I was promised a copy of the game. So with that out of the way, let's start with the presentation of the game, the components. So the cards are already of a very high quality. They're very thick, they're nice and big, they're very colorful, the colors really pop. So that is all very well done, and this is of course a prototype copy, a demo copy, but it's already been produced very well. So the final product, if that is the same as this or perhaps even better, the quality is absolutely very good. I like the little card stand as well. The playmat is very nice, which is an optional add-on, I believe, but it's also a very nice and relatively thick playmat. It's about 1.5 millimeters, I think, vinyl cover. The resource cubes are also pretty chunky. They're colored, so they're very easy to discern. And there is even a stretch goal on the Kickstarter to turn the cubes into actually shaped resources. So the carrot will actually be a carrot and the coin will be a round coin, etc. So that's a very nice stretch goal as well. I'd like to see that happen too, to make it even more visually appealing. The art on the cards is fantastic. I really love the artwork in all of this. The artwork in the booklets is also very cute and well done. As you can see, this art, there is a lot of white still here. There is color. I believe there is also a stretch goal for filling the entire comics with color. So to make even that a lot nicer. The iconography is also very clear and very intuitive. You'll instantly see what everything does and what you will get and what you'll need to pay on these cards, and the resources that you'll need to fulfill the goal of the chapter is also very clearly printed on the goal cards. So all of that is very well done indeed. So onto the theme of the game. I really love the theme. It's very cute, it's kid-friendly, family-friendly. It's about the little bunny, and when I saw them at Spiel 2019, it was the artwork of the booth, the banners that they had, and of course the nice little plushies here that first caught my eye. But having seen the game played and having played it myself as well, it's really a very enjoyable experience. The stories are fun, they're interesting, and the story gets more and more interesting as you go on to the next chapters. I even have chapter 2 here already, which is still sealed. I didn't want to show that to spoil anything, but I will be trying that later, so I'm very excited to see that. And it's already pretty thick package, which is bigger than chapter 1. So this is chapter 1, which is already a pretty large pack of cards. But as you can see, chapter 2 is about twice its thickness. Now, I don't know if all of that is cards, but it feels rather heavy. So I think there's a lot more to be found in chapter 2 already. So maybe each chapter will bring something more to the game. And there are multiple paths that you can take as well, which brings me to the gameplay. So first of all, the rules are very simple. It's easy to learn. It's very intuitive. Like I said, all the resources that works all very well indeed. You simply play a card, decide what you do, and the card either goes to the past and you'll never see it again, or it goes to the future and then it will return on the next day when you shuffle all the cards once you're through the chapter and you play it again, and the same cards will appear but in a different order. And so it is the trick to remember which cards you've already seen and which resources you will need to overcome those cards and to get certain items, perhaps. And to buy one of these items you need money as well, or other resources. So it's very important to remember which cards you've seen and sent into the future, and that will be coming back. So that's the trick here. And of course, to make sure you have enough resources to get the goal of the chapter finished. And so the first time you play this, you'll never know what's going to happen. You'll just go through the cards and see what happens, and everything is new and a surprise. And then you will make decisions, and sometimes you may overcome a card right away, and sometimes it will come back later. So keep in mind the resources you need to get. So plan ahead and remember all the cards. So I think that's a very fun mechanism. You'll never know what's going to happen until you played it. And then the next time you'll play it, you'll know what's coming, and you'll need to remember that. And even if you lose the chapter, the next time you play, there might be new cards because you're making different decisions. And the first time you play through a chapter, you won't encounter all of the cards because of the decisions you're making. So the next time you might want to try something else and then encounter different cards. And again, plan ahead to get those resources you need. So that brings me to the replayability. So once you've played through a chapter, you can play it again just to see what other cards are in there if you're making different choices. Or if you lost a chapter the first time, you can play it again. You'll have a little bit of a head start because you've already seen some of the cards, and you might make different decisions or take different paths. And in addition, there's also the advanced mode, which is a lot more challenging because you need more resources, you have less health. So once you've played through a chapter and you've beaten it, why not try the advanced mode? But at some point, you will have seen all the cards, so the replayability isn't endless unless you don't mind playing the same story multiple times. In that case, you can of course play as many times if you like, because it is still a puzzle game. Basically, you're making decisions, you're trying to remember which resources you need, but maybe after playing this many times, you will already know which path is the best path to take and which resources you really need to stock up on to reach that goal or to overcome certain cards. So it will get easier, but that's really what the advanced mode is for. If you really already know how each chapter is going to unfold, advanced mode is going to make that a lot more challenging for you. Personally, I found it very enjoyable to replay the chapters, to try them several times. I've lost some, I've won some in the first chapter, and I've even tried the advanced mode. I haven't been able to beat it yet. I've played it several times, so I find it very challenging and a lot of fun to even replay the same chapter, but your miles may vary. The game is, of course, language dependent, which is often the case with story-driven games. It's inherent, but I do have to say that the language is very minimal. The story is conveyed very well through the little comic books and, of course, the art on the card. It's basically very clear what Eila is doing and what she's encountering, but you do have some text on the choices you're making. But underneath those choices, underneath these arrows, there's the icons that tell you if you're gaining something or if you're losing something, if you need a tool for it, etc. And if the card goes to the future or to the past. So basically, the card is pretty self-explanatory, but having a basic knowledge of the English language will help, because there is some text on it. It's mostly flavor text, but it does help. So language dependency is there, but it's not a huge factor. So I feel you don't really need to be fluent in English to still be able to enjoy this game. So to conclude, I very much enjoyed playing through the tutorial and the first chapter. I'm looking forward to playing the second chapter. Found it very enjoyable. I love the artwork, I love the components, I really love the plushie here. And I can't wait to find out what Eila will discover in the next chapters and what that shiny thing on top of the mountain really is. So I'm going to give this a big 2 bunny ears up, and if you liked what you saw here, go check out the Kickstarter. I've put a link in the description below this video, and you can also click the I in the corner of this video, and that link will take you to the Kickstarter. And there's several other reviews and playthroughs that you can watch as well. So have a look at that and maybe decide to get a copy yourself. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you hit the bell icon, you'll get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.